Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to another video. Today I will be showing you how to make sourdough bread with only 4 ingredients. Sourdough starter, flour, water and salt. That's all you gotta need. And it will be a really nice yeasty bread. It smells really good and there are some air pockets in it, but of course you can always try to get more, and it's really nice and rich in taste. So let's start cooking. So we start off by putting first in the sourdough starter, and then on top of that we will add flour and then the water. And you just mix that until it's in a solid state. So like that it's at least looking already for a bit of a dough. And once it's semi-dough, you can take it out and knead it on the bench. Now, this might take quite a bit of arm work and elbow grease into it, because the thing you're gonna do is putting in the force so it will give the nice stretch and create its gluten. After 5 minutes of doing so, you can add the salt and then continue doing this for another 5 minutes.
I know I want you, but you don't need me. And I know it ain't easy thinking about what you would do. But now I'm gone, my head's in a spin again, and my heart won't let me begin to see I've got nothing to win. My words, they mean nothing, and I lie where I can. I lie down beside you, and I see why you can't understand me. But now I'm gone, my head's in a spin again, and my heart won't let me begin to see I've got nothing to win.
Now after all the kneading, we can cover it up and let it rest for 15 minutes. So grab a kitchen towel and just cover it. Make it wet as well. Not super wet, but just moist that you can feel that it's being held under the drain. And leave it to rest for 15 minutes. So the next step is going to be a little bit more complicated. We're going to try to fold the dough underneath itself. So what you want to do is lift it up at 1/3 of the size of the dough, and the top part needs to go underneath the part that you just lifted up, and you will do that with the entire dough. And once you have done that 3 or 4 times, then you lift it up and turn it a quarter size, so like clockwise or counterclockwise, and then let it rest for another 15 minutes to repeat the same step. And so now that you have done the folding for a second time, you could leave the bread or the dough to rest for 30 minutes before we continue with the next step. And so for the next step, after letting the dough rest for 30 minutes, you want to take a bowl and put some oil in it and cover the entire bowl with it. So take a piece of kitchen paper and just wipe around it. It does not matter how much oil you put in there. It is mainly to prevent sticking the dough to the bowl. So you cannot have not too much oil in it. And we will leave it resting in here until it's at least double the. So now that the dough has reached double of its own size, which might take an hour, you can fold it, and you need to knead it a little bit so that all the yeast and the fermentation part to make the dough rise goes out. And so you knead the dough first a little bit, and then you can slice it in half, or leave it all together depending on what kind of bread you are making. I'm making enough dough for two kind of breads, so I will slice it in half and leave it in my bread basket. But as well, the other option is you put it already on a baking tray with some baking paper underneath it and let it rise there again until it reaches double in size.
In a spin again, and my heart won't let me begin to see I've got nothing to win. But now I'm gone, my head's in a spin again, and my heart won't let me begin to see I've got nothing to win.
So to bake this bread, you want to preheat the oven on 240 degrees Celsius, and once the oven is hot, lower it to 230 degrees Celsius and put in a tray with some water to create the steam effect, and bake it for 8 minutes. And after those 8 minutes, take out the tray of water and lower the temperature to 180 degrees and bake it up for another 12 minutes. If you want to know if the bread is cooked, after those 12 minutes, just turn it over and tap at the bottom. If you feel semi-hollow sound or hollow sound, like a little doof doof, then the bread will be ready. And so just let it cool down, and then you can slice it open and eat it up.
To see I've got nothing to win.
Now I would like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you will have a delicious meal out of it. And I would say, if you do, please enjoy, and I hope to see you next time. Have a nice day.